Hi, welcome to TOTECS, the developers of the e-commerce platform providing powerful, scalable and automated integrated websites that work for your business. This video will show an overview of the changes we've made in the 18.0 release for the TOTECS e-commerce platform, providing 17 improvements and 18 bug fixes. Within the product deals and vouchers feature, 2 new deal offer types have been added that allows a product's price to be discounted when a user orders either a certain quantity or over a certain quantity of products, and a percentage discount can be applied to a targeted price level price. So for example, in our demo content managed website here, we're currently not logged in here, so we're looking at it as a retail or a guest user, and we can see the product deals and offer shows that if they buy over 5 of these archive box products, they can receive 20% off the wholesale price for each unit. So normally the guest retail user could be seeing prices in a completely different price level, but in this case, these products on this deal have a deal offer where that user can get access to wholesale pricing when they may not normally be able to. So if you add these products to basket, we can see that deal has now been applied since the user has to order over 5, so that could be 6 or it could be 16, and this deal still applies to each of the units in the basket. And the second deal is quite similar, so if we buy exactly 10 of a particular product, then this deal says that we can get 30% off a wholesale price level price for each unit. So we can buy the exact quantity of 10. And it is for every 10 quantities thereafter when the discount can be applied. If the user orders 11, then the first 10 will receive this deal, but the 11th one will not. So naturally the unit price will then on average get larger, as we can see here. But as soon as they order 20, the deal will have been applied twice to the 2 batches of 10 quantities. So these 2 new deal offer types allow users to get access to not only a different price level price, but a percentage off that price level price. You can set up deals to target different price levels for different targeted customers. So it doesn't just have to be the wholesale price level. It can be any one of the number of price levels set up in a certain project. These 2 new deal offer types may help increase sales and traffic to enable growth in a business. In the 18.0 release, we added a new piece of functionality into the content managed websites where we can display the total amount of deal discounts that have been applied to the user's basket and as well as to their order. This can be used to indicate to users the amount of money that they're saving when deals are being applied to the products that they've added to their basket and are ordering. On the content managed site we have here, if you look in the basket summary area, we can see that we've got this label showing that the amount saved for this user is $827.51. If they add products to basket where there's a deal applied to these products, then we can see that that total will dynamically adjust on the page to show them the updated amount that they're now saving. This can help users and customers feel like they're getting rewarded for ordering certain products. The total here is based across all the products that are on the user's basket that contain deals. If we go onto a page that contains a basket product listing area, we can also display that same label that also appears in the basket summary area. And we can also customize the labeling or the colors, or we could use other elements in order to highlight this overall total saved. Now we can also display the price inclusive of tax, excluding tax, as well as the tax amount that has been saved on the deal. We can also hide this label if there are no products in the basket, such as you can see here after I deleted those 2 chairs where the deals applied. And we can see that we've also put in styling here where we can hide it from appearing in the basket summary. This can be helpful on certain websites where users may not get particular deals, and so they don't need to see that particular feature. If I put those products back into the basket again, and we proceed through the order checkout, at the order review stage, we can also show the total deal amount that the user has saved based on the sum of the 2 deals that applied to across the 3 products here. This can further reinforce the amount of savings that the particular user is getting. If we then submit the order, we can also show it in the successful order submission. Once again, reinforces the amount that that user may have saved, which may compel them to come back and order more products in the future since they're getting a win from the order. Within the 18.0 TOTECS e-commerce platform release, we've added a new capability where after a user has added a product to basket and proceeded to a content managed web page that displays a basket product listing, that the user has the ability to change the way that the products are sorted within that basket products listing area. So there are 2 new format hooks that we've added to the area that we can display in both the area's header bar or within the area's footer bar to be able to sort products. All these sort by filters allows users and sales reps and customers in general to be able to tailor the ordering of their products, which may be useful to work out what is the most costly or the least costly, or the most quantities or the least quantities in the basket, which is particularly relevant when you're dealing with many products in a basket, such as tens, hundreds, or even 1,000 products in the basket, where this sorting feature becomes very handy. This allows them to modify the products in the basket faster, such as adding, updating quantities, deleting products, or viewing the details of each product itself. Within the 18.0 TOTECS Ecommerce platform release, we've added a new capability where after a user has added a product to basket and proceeded to a content managed web page that displays a basket product listing, we've added 2 new format hooks that allow us to display with each product record the brand and the supplier of those products. So in this example, we have a computer monitor made by ViewSonic. And so we can see that this has the brand of ViewSonic, but you can see that the supplier in this case is this company called MMT. And for these other products, we can see that these are both Aspire branded products, but they're supplied by different primary supplier, one by Fellows and one by P House. So this is additional information that we can display with each of these product records, which may be relevant for users, sales reps, customers, or anyone else that wants to see more details with the products that are being listed within their product basket after those products have been added to basket. In the 18.0 TOTECS e-commerce platform release, there is now a capability, so once guest users have added products to their basket, if that person then has a particular user login, they then log in with their credentials. It is now possible to copy the products previously in their guest basket across into that user's logged in basket. And this may be the situation where the user initially starts using the websites to add products to basket as a guest user, but then realizes they want to add those products to their logged in basket for their own user account. So this makes it very easy. The user no longer has to then find those products again and add them to basket. They will automatically be copied across and placed into the basket. And optionally, those products can be repriced at their logged in user's assigned customer account level, as opposed to the general retail or guest user pricing level. Now that's an option. It doesn't have to be that way. The existing pricing that the user saw as a guest user in a retail capacity could remain. It's a configurable setting. So this functionality can be very useful, especially for users who forget to log in first before they start adding products to basket. That in turn may help increase the chances of those products being purchased, since there's less friction for the user to overcome in order to complete order checkout and complete ordering the products. In the 18.0 TOTECS e-commerce platform release, we've added a few new enhancements to the particular web page areas that display the order history, where users can see the orders that they have previously submitted based on creating baskets, adding products to baskets, and proceeding through order checkout. For logged in users, they can then come back to a particular page containing the user details, favorites, and orders area, where they can view the history of these orders. And the new capability is to be able to filter these orders based on the month and year that these orders were raised, as well as to be able to sort the orders placed by them for themselves or for a specific account. So for sales rep users, they can see the orders across an entire customer account. And that could be very important when you have many users who are ordering for, say, the one company. If you have purchasing officers that are working under one particular organizational entity, as well as for sales rep users, so that they can find and filter the orders for particular customers that they manage ordering for. So if you look at the functionality here, the user can choose firstly by a particular year. So the years are for the mid-financial years. So if we go all the way back to 2017, we can see we created 4 orders in the 2016-2017 financial year. And if we want to get more specific, we can go down to a particular month to see the orders that were created through June. And we can filter that even further down to 3 particular orders. So this is a quick way for the user to navigate and filter orders for a particular financial year and then in a particular month, or across all months in a financial year. Note that if the all years option is selected, then the filter by month can only be for all months. So they must choose a year range before they can choose a particular month range. Now the other option here is the orders placed by you. For users who can only order for their one assigned customer account, they will only see the order placed by you option. But if the user has permission to view orders across an entire customer account, so in this example, the customer account code is 001001, that option wouldn't be available if the user was not a sales rep user. Since the user I'm logged in is a sales rep user, within a web page that contains the customer account selection, if I then switch to another customer account, so in this case we've got one called 001257-new, and click on the user account, the basket of the user will change. But if we also proceed back through to the order history, within the order history, we can still see the 5 orders that the user we're logged in has personally raised. But if we switch to that customer account that's now active, 001257-new, now we can see all the orders that have been raised by different users for the same customer account. So this is particularly important for when you may have a team of different purchasing officers, or you may have multiple sales representative users who are creating orders for the one customer account. And this makes it very easy to see how many orders have been raised, the totals of those orders, as well as to be able to view then the details of each order. We also have other options here to be able to change how many order records are displayed per page. So at the moment it's by default is set to 50. We can change it to be 10, which may be relevant for looking at it in smaller web browsers. And then we have the ability to paginate between each page of those ordering records. In the 18.0 and 18.1 TOTECS Ecommerce platform releases, we've added a number of enhancements and settings to provide more control over how users' passwords are validated, as well as the minimum number of characters that are required for their login IDs and their security answers. Not only this, but we've also added the capability to show, as the users are setting passwords and security answers, how valid their passwords and answers that they are setting. This ensures that users are protecting their credentials from any malicious third parties that could try to guess the passwords using common known passwords and password phrases. Within any project on the platform, in its administration center, administrator users can now specifically set the minimum required character length for login IDs, for the passwords, and the security answers, as well as indicating the number of numeric characters, special characters, lowercase and uppercase characters that must exist in passwords set by users within the user registration content managed web page area, as well as within the user details, favorites and orders content managed web page area, where users can also update and change their password. As well as when administrators change a password for a user, where these validation rules for passwords are also enforced. These settings provide additional flexibility to be able to change the security password policies now and into the future, as well as it can make it easier for the users to be able to set passwords when they know what those policies are, when they're both signing up and creating new user accounts or they're updating passwords in their existing accounts. Ultimately, this is to reduce the chances of malicious third parties being able to guess a user's password, gain access to their user account. In the 18.0 TOTECS Ecommerce platform release, we've added additional security to limit the number of times users can attempt to log in or use the forgot password features within an allowed time frame. If we click on the login button, after the user has entered their login ID and password and click the login button, if the user incorrectly guesses their login and password credentials and continues to do this, then they'll be limited to only being able to make 20 attempts within the last 15 minutes. If they try again for the 21st time, the error message will tell them that the maximum number of login attempts has been reached and where they need to then try again at another time. This failed message will continue to occur until the user has made less than 20 attempts in the last 15 minutes. So for example, if after 15 minutes they've made 20 attempts and are making attempts say once every minute, then they'll get another try within another minute or so. And it is a similar scenario to the forgot password feature. So in the forgot password, if we enter the user's login ID and they have a security question, if we guess the password incorrectly 20 times within the last 24 hours, then a message will show up showing that the maximum number of attempts to answer the security questions has been made. This limits the amount of attempts malicious actors can make to answer these security questions. And if they then continually attempt to try to make incorrect answers, no checks will be actually made against the security question since the maximum failure rate has already been exceeded. In the 18.0 TOTECS Ecommerce platform release, we've added an improvement within the order checkout and submission areas to allow the credit card types to have the labeling be customizable when the user decides to choose the type of credit card they wish to pay for an order with. And this may be very handy because maybe we want to localize or provide additional information about these payment types that normally were fixed in the text that could be shown. So if we log into the administration center of the TOTECS project and click on the stores navigation menu item, then we click on the payment settings menu item. Within the credit card section, there are 3 new settings that we've added for the credit card type label, American Express, MasterCard and Visa. So rather than before we had it as Amex, we could write here American Express. Maybe for MasterCard, we don't want it to have all capitals, so we could have it as title case instead. Now, we could also provide other information which may be relevant. So for example, we could say this may incur a 2% surcharge. Now, do note that this will not automatically apply a 2% surcharge. We would still need to configure that within the order surcharges interface, but that could be an indicator just to double confirm the user is happy to pay an extra amount to use that payment type. Once we've changed those settings, if we click on the Save button, the next time a user proceeds through the order checkout and submission area and pays with the credit card payment option, we can see now the labels of those payment options have now been updated. In the 18.0 TOTECS Ecommerce platform release, we've added an improvement so that once an order has been raised and submitted from within a content managed website and an order confirmation notification email is sent out to the end user, or if an order previously submitted has been emailed by an administrator user, within the order confirmation notification email, within the order attachment that contains the details of the order, there is now the ability to embed the location information based on the location that is assigned to the order. So that could be a store, it could be a warehouse, it could be a site, any kind of location that is assigned to the order based on the customer account assigned to the order, or based on the delivery address, or any other rules that define the location that's set against the order. We can now embed the information about that location with all the other details of the order. So this includes the name of the location, the code of the location, as well as the location's unique identifier. We can also hide or show this information if the warehouse and locations feature is turned on or not. This is all configurable from within an administration center under the stores menu, within the order settings interface, under the order notification email section, within the order confirmation email order detail format. This is where we can embed any of the location information that we want to display in that order email attachment. So if I don't want to show the location's unique identifier, I could easily remove or add the format hook that controls that data, as well as the styling that occurs around that particular location. So this information may be very relevant if the end user or a sales representative wishes to know the location that the ordered products will be processed or dispatched from, such as if it is a warehouse or if it's a store where the order needs to be picked up from. In the 18.0 TOTECS Ecommerce platform release, within the Content Managed Web Page feature, we've added new capabilities to the JavaScript API to allow customized third-party JavaScript to trigger reloading related product listing areas, category crumb areas, and product detail areas when certain events happen on a web page. This can be very helpful when we want to dynamically update areas of the web page when users perform actions, such as here on a product detail page. Once the user changes the options for a combination product, it can trigger the related products listing to update based on the child product that is chosen from the options. This is done by listening for the child combination reload event, which occurs when we change the combination options. And then we can have JavaScript reload the related products listing area, such as we have here. If we had a category crumbs area, we can also tell that to reload itself, or we could tell the product detail area to also reload itself. So this functionality can be very helpful when we would want to dynamically update different parts of the web page. In the 18.0 TOTECS Ecommerce platform release, we've added a new setting into the Content Managed websites that allows HTTP response headers to be set by administrator users across all web pages images loaded on the website. This is a fairly technical piece of functionality, but is very useful to be able to control the information that is returned from the servers to the web browsers. This can be used to provide additional security to the content managed websites to reduce the chances of hackers and malicious third parties from being able to access or take users' data, such as implementing HTTP response headers, such as the content security policy header. This feature allows administrative users to provide security policies that very much target the type of content that is allowed to be hosted on the website. But they can also come up with other HTTP response headers that may be relevant to the web browsers, which may include other settings or filters to tell the web browsers how to handle the web pages that are given to them. We would highly recommend setting up the content security policy, but note that this can be a little bit tricky to set up because it involves trying to look at the website and what content is allowed by third parties and which content is not. So I would highly recommend talking to the TOTECS service team about how to set this up right. Otherwise, if it's set up incorrectly, images or content on the web pages may not load from those third parties or even from the website itself, and it could break functionality. So it's very important to get these rules right, otherwise it could result in a loss of functionality for users. In the 18.0 TOTECS Ecommerce platform release, we have added the capability for where we have parent combination products, that's products that represent a collection of different child products that can be found by using a combination of options to find the child products. There is now the ability within the administration center, under the inventory menu, within the product settings, if the setting named automatically calculate combination product prices is set to yes, then anytime a connector product account pricing data import is run, or a product pricing text file data import is run, if the automatically calculate combination product price is set to yes, it will now copy across any account specific pricing across to the parent combination product. So that way the default pricing of a parent combination product, when it displays within product listing and product details areas, can now be based on any contract or promotional pricing that has been imported and assigned against a user's customer account. So this allows more accurate indicative pricing to occur when a user first sees a parent combination product. Then the pricing for it can show any discounts that may also be available based on the default child product assigned to the combination. When a product pricing data import's run, if that setting is turned on, it will also clear out any previous customer account pricing data that is no longer relevant. So for example, if one of these products was a default child product of our parent combination chair, then it would be copied across so that way that the user can see the discounted price that may be in effect, or it could be a contract price that's forced. And then when those data imports run again, this pricing may get cleared out if the contract pricing is no longer in effect. In the 18.0 TOTECS Ecommerce platform release, on a content manager web page that displays either an order checkout submission area or a guest order checkout submission area, if the area has reporting turned on to send confirmed orders to Google Analytics service through Google's Tag Manager service, the order data now provided conforms to Google Analytics 4 services e-commerce purchase transaction type. This change drops support for ordering data conforming to the Universal Analytics service, since Google no longer provides support for the service. For the order data to correctly be handled within Google Tag Manager, the tag that is handling transferring the data needs to have its tags type set to Google Analytics GA4 event. If you have an existing website that already has Google Tag Manager being used for e-commerce ordering statistics, then we would recommend logging into Google Tag Manager and checking if there's any errors that Google is reporting, and correspondingly make sure Google Tag Manager is now set to use Google Analytics GA4 events and configurations to ensure that statistics continue to come in within the Google Analytics e-commerce purchases interface. If you wish to learn more about all the details of the great functionality released in the 18.0 release, you can go to the totecs.au website. In the top navigation bar, you can click on the resources link and go to the forums. Then within the releases forum, within the TOTECS platform release 18.0, you can find more great documentation on the functionality. Otherwise, you can watch videos of each of these individual features in all its detail if you click on the playlist at the end of this video. And links to all the individual videos are also in the YouTube description. You can also talk to us in the community forums or contact our service team to work out how you can implement these enhancements within your own e-commerce websites. Till next time, have a great one.